Testing.
One minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Williams, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Of course, you know today is the day, but before we get into the show or anything, Michael Cohen apparently has pleaded guilty, some sort of a plea deal. We don't have any specifics on that yet, but if and when we get some, we'll let you know. But folks, this is Politics Done Right. If you're just joining us, please remember to go ahead and share this program on your wall, share this program on your Facebook page, Facebook wall, and everywhere possible, because this is the only way progressive news, progressive information gets out unadulterated or in the fashion that it should. Remember who we are. We are progressives, and remember, in this country, at this point in our history, we are one of the folks who do not get the coverage that we deserve. We do not get the coverage because guess what? We tell the truth. Not only do we tell the truth, we make people think. We make people think about, is this right or not? Is this wrong? Is this right? What's up? Folks, again, please go ahead and share this on your Facebook page, Facebook wall. We have a great subject today, and it started this morning when I came back from my bike ride. I turned on Morning Joe, and I saw D.L. Hughley at the time. He happened to come be on at the time that I was doing my sit-ups. Saw D.L. Hughley, and the first thing I heard D.L. talk about is the plight of people of color with police officers. And I know for a lot of people this is a touchy subject, but I tell you what, for me, it's not a touchy subject, it's reality. For many folks of color, it's not a touchy subject, it's reality. For many poor white folk, it's not a touchy subject, it is reality. And I added that thing about, which I should have added to my lead as well, because I have great commenters, great followers, great people that are engaged in this particular in this program, Politics Done Right. And one of them said, Egberto, please add to what you're talking about poor white folk as well, because they suffer some of the indignities as well to police officers who many times are on power trips. But otherwise, when I read the blog of the week, you're going to see in the ending that this is all planned. And I hope you stick around for the blog of the week, because the blog of the week, I kind of hammer it down. Folks, this is a call-in show. Telephone number 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. If you're just joining us, please share this program on your on your wall. Please share this program everywhere you can. It is important, and this is going to be an important program. And this program, because it's talking about police brutality and what police and police profiling of people of color, this doesn't mean that this is who it pertains to. The reality is this program pertains more so to the people not of color. The people not of color, because the indignities that have occurred on people of color by police officers can only occur under the supervision of those who allow it, and many are doing just that. Many are just as allowing this to happen by not holding these folks accountable for what they do. So how do I want to start the program? I'm going to start the program first with telling you what it's all about. Title of the program is People of Color Have Reason to Consider Police at Best Suspect. And I mean that. People of color have reason to consider police at best suspect. And when I'm stopped by a police officer, or when I'm driving in front of a police officer, first of all, if I'm driving and a police officer is behind me, I slow the hell down within the speed limits and make sure they pass. One of the things that as a person of color, as a black man, as a black Latino, that I do all of the times when it comes to the police officer, when it comes to the criminal justice system in this country, is one and only one thing that I do. I stay the hell away from the criminal justice system. In other words, I want to have nothing to do with the criminal justice system. I stay as far as away from police officers as possible. I stay as far away from the law as possible. And why? Because as I'm a businessman, I'm an educated man, I'm an engineer, I'm a business owner, I'm all these things. And still, the one thing as a black man, the one thing as a black Latino, the one thing as a black Caribbean man that I do is stay to heck away from the criminal justice system. And that is an advice that I give to a whole lot of people. Do nothing that's going to get your attention in the system. Until we change it, it is not your friend. And it's sad that somebody like myself, who believe in law and order, who believe that there are a whole lot of bombs out there, crooks and all, including all those white collar crooks that are killing people, not with guns, but by taking away their economic futures. Those are assassins as well. But again, that is my recipe. Stay as far as hell as possible from the criminal justice system. And so far that has worked for me. Like I said, if a cop is one place, I am another. And the reason why, again, is history. But anyhow, the title of the show, for those just coming, please remember to please, folks, go ahead and share the show. Hi, Lawrence Sims. Hi, Michael Rudnin. Hi, Rosalinda Murphy Caesar. Hi, Chase Escamilla. Welcome aboard. And for those who I haven't gotten to yet, welcome aboard. For those who are just getting in, please, folks, please, it's so important for you to share the program. Now, as I said before, the title of the program is People of Color Have Reason to Consider Police at Best Suspect. But here is actually, that's not the title of the show. That's the title of the blog. The title of the show is People of Color Must Assume the Police Will Mistreat Them and Prepare. I repeat. That's the title. Hi, Ken James, Michael, Dean, Newton. Welcome aboard. People of color must assume the police will mistreat them and prepare. If you're just joining us, folks, please share this on your page. Please share this on your wall. Tweet it. Everything else. It's a very, very, very important subject. Subtitle of the show: It is now time to stop speaking around the issue. Police officers are not the bastions of our society, but a reflection of our society, and they must be treated accordingly. It is unnecessary to say most are good, because you know what? Most of us are good. So I repeat, it is now time to stop speaking around the issue. Police officers are not the bastions of our society, but a reflection thereof. They must be treated accordingly. It is unnecessary to say most are good, because most of us, in fact, are good. Now, I am tired, and I mean I am tired of prefacing that most police officers are good when I start speaking about bad cops. Here is the reality. As long as there remains a silent blue line that good police officers refuse to cross, It means they are all either bad or at best enablers. Tough statement? Yes. Do I mean that? Yes. If you are seeing people of color gunned down by the law, it's bad enough they're gunned down by some of their own brothers and sisters in the neighborhood. But if they're also being gunned down by the law, and folks within the law allow it to happen with their silence, then one must come to that conclusion that I've just come by. And I'll repeat it for those of you who are just starting. And please, folks, if you're just joining us, please go ahead and share the program. It is so imperative for us to get the message out. That is how we make change. That is how we make people think. Let them see it. So I'm going to repeat that, and then we're going to go into the blog of the week. Here it goes. I am tired of prefacing that most police officers are good when I start speaking about bad cops. Here is the reality. As long as there remains a silent blue line that good police officers refuse to cross, it means they are all either bad or at best enablers. The life of millions of mostly people of color are always in the balance, and until we stop coddling the police and ensure that, like everyone else, they follow the law, my life, the lives of people of color, and I must add, I don't have it in there, but the lives of many poor white folk as well. The lives of all these people throughout this nation then is in danger. Please, folks, allow that to sink into your heads. Allow that to sink into your heads. When somebody like myself, who is usually always a uniter, as somebody who wants to make sure we hang together, make sure that we together beat the system. If I'm telling you these words, my dear friends, as a black man, as a black Latino Caribbean man, I have all the ism kind of things in my ethnicity. It is the way it is. And like I said, one of my solutions is to stay the hell away from the criminal justice system as best I can. And most people of color right now, until white people step up, good white folk step up and ensure that we don't let these people go when they do these things that they do, which currently they've mostly been getting released, getting off of. Until you guys step up, black folk, Latinos, los demás, todo lo demás, tienen que permanece o permítase no estar en la judicial, criminal. It is imperative, folks. Continuing. When interacting with police officers, do as you're told. Be respectful. Live stream if possible, but at least get into audio video recording mode. If you are a person of color, that advice may not save your life, but it gives you a better chance of survival, and it keeps the injustice at the forefront. So, folks, the telephone number is 646-716-5812. Before we get to deeper into the program, what I want to do is I want to play this video. It's been seen over 5 million times. And it's about 4 minutes and 13 seconds. And I want you guys to see this video. This video broke my heart. A young black man, not doing anything wrong, just existing in his humanity in a parking lot, had to go through the injustices, the humiliation. And this is not an isolated event. For the mere existence, for his mere hue, he had to go through this. And this happens to hundreds of thousands of black men, black folk, poor whites, Latinos, over and over again. And it's a power trip. Most of the drugs aren't done by these folks. Most of the crimes, forget what you hear from the FBI stats. FBI stats are only valid. BS in, BS out. In other words, if you hear that people of color are arrested more than white people, of course, because that's who the cops arrest. In my neighborhood, it's a different story. In my neighborhood, you get a tap on your hands and you say, go home to daddy. You hit somebody with a car, you run home, and you come back with daddy. The cops don't arrest you for leaving the scene of a crime. That is my existence in my beautiful lily white neighborhood. That doesn't occur in the other neighborhoods around Houston. So, folks, this is real, and people are enduring this. Take a look at this video and tell me if you can see the hurt. Forget about all the externalities with the cops and what the cop is saying, even though what the cop is saying is ridiculous. See the hurt in this young guy's face. Somebody who is just being. Somebody who is just existing.
Where are you trying to get? What are you doing, dude?
Officer, I'm not doing nothing to you.
Okay. Well, you're making me think something funny is going on, man.
How you doing, officer?
Is this your car?
Well, it's a rental right now. My car's in the shop.
Okay. Did you something break down?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. You guys just came from over at the park, right?
Yeah, we just hanging out.
That's it?
Well, that's what
Is this your car?
I just told you my car is in the shop, officer. This is a rental.
Okay. How do you start it?
What do you mean? I just put my foot on the brake and I put it in drive and I
Okay.
drive, officer.
So it's your car, though? Did they give you a
It's
fob or
not
something?
my car, officer.
Did
My
they
car-
give you a key fob or something? Or
Yes, sir. Officer.
like, what does it do? Does it?
You see, that should let you know that it's in.
Okay. Do you have any weapons on you or in the car?
No, officer.
Okay, can I be honest with you? It smells like marijuana in the car, and I can see shake on the ground. And your buddy's giving me the idea that maybe he's got a gun. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think.
How?
I don't know. Just the way. I mean, just the way you're holding yourself, man. Like, that's why we're nervous, man. That's it. I mean, if you're scared because you got a little bit of weed, that'll be one thing.
Officer,
Okay.
there's no weed.
Okay.
There's no shake on the floor.
Okay. So there's no shake on the floor.
Officer,
Okay. All right. And you don't have any weapons on you, you said?
officer, that is correct.
Go ahead and step out, Montre.
Actually, I did.
Yep, I just told you why. 3 times. You want me to recap again?
Officer, look, my hands is up.
Yep, your hands are up, and now I'm asking you to step out of the car.
I gave you my ID.
You gave me your ID.
Go run it.
Yep, I don't want to. I'm not walking away from this car.
Officer, can I ask you why?
Yep, because I just told you, step out of the car. If you don't want to go to jail, I would expect you to please listen. I mean, I told you I'm a cop. Face the car when you step out. Face the car when you step out. Face the car when you step out. Don't flex. Don't flex. I don't know what you're doing, man, but you need to knock that off. Stop pulling on your arms.
There was no gun, there was no weapon to harm you, officer. We didn't do anything wrong. We stopped at the stoplight. We pulled over when you pulled over. I did everything you asked me to, officer.
Is there marijuana shake on the floor of the car?
Officer, that was cigarette ash, okay? You didn't find no marijuana.
I'm not charging you with marijuana. But here's what. If you want me to be real with you, like, I want you to be real with me for a second. Like, did I make that up? You know what I mean? Did I make it up?
I believe so, officer.
Okay, so you want me to just write you the ticket for the stuff that I have to write you tickets for? If you think that I'm lying, like, then we'll go to court and we'll talk about it then.
Okay.
Or do you want to just be real with me and I'll be real with you?
and then it won't make us nervous. Okay?
Usually when we see that, with somebody sitting there like that, like there's a gun right where you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, like that's what happens. Do you have any questions?
Now, my heart broke when I saw that. That young man, you know, I mean, more than likely, like you can see, his parents taught him what to do, how to approach a cop. Sort of the same thing that I told my own daughter, as far as when you're dealing with the police officers, realize that even though you live in this community, that your racial invisibility is not there as others are. And as such, you need to comport accordingly. It's not fair, it's not right, but it is survival, and it'll keep you alive. It'll make sure that I continue to have a kid. And for myself, who is in actually much more danger than a woman, I follow the same rules that I teach my daughter, her friends of color, etc. The same things that I teach them. Because, my dear friends, it is real, and that's what we live. And for all those who refuse to accept that, you have to go into your hearts after seeing the reality, after not just hearing somebody recounting the stories, but actually seeing it on videos, actually seeing it over and over again, after seeing disrespectful folks get gunned down, or disrespectful people of color getting gunned down, respectful people of color getting gunned down, respectful people of color following directions of the police officers getting gunned down, and you don't really see the problem, and you don't want to accept that there is in fact a problem, that is why there is the problem. But after I'm done reading the blog of the week, there's something that I want you guys to take a look at and listen out for the ending. Because the ending makes it quite clear that this is not by accident, and you also should beware. So folks, do you know what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay, folks, if you're just joining us, please remember to share the program. That is how we get maximum exposure, especially since Facebook and the other platforms have been doing some shenanigans and sharing progressive media. Anyhow, folks, people of color, title of the blog post, people of color have reason to consider police, at best, suspect. I stand by those words. People of color have reason to believe or consider police officers at best suspect. There is a now video circulating that is a classic example of why people of color cannot in these times always assume police are a friend or protector. They are but a reflection of society, and their behavior seem to have accelerated further downward with the election of Donald Trump, the supremacist in chief. This video shows a clear case of police messing with the civil liberties of a young black man as he racially profiles him. After watching the video, I was so incensed that I shared the video on my Facebook wall to elicit commentary. I wrote the following lead for the post, and I said as follows: if you wonder why thinking people of color and socially conscious white people consider police officers a 50-50 liability, mostly for people of color when thinking about their personal security, videos like these are perfect examples. I spoke to my daughter and a myriad of young people of color in my community and others as they basked in the bubble to disregard their false sense of racial invisibility. Criminalized just for your existence is not only exhausting, but life-threatening. Thanks for sharing this, Candace Weber, who was the person who shared this particular video. So thank you so kindly for doing that. Now, it would not be long before I got reactions. A good friend and exchange the following dialogue. Forgot to put I in there, but I'll fix that. And it goes as follows. I can't stop thinking, this is what she's saying, I can't stop thinking about the encounter I had with a University of Houston campus police officer when we were there Friday registering voters. He walked past us and we said, "Are you registered to vote?" He replied, "Yes, and I can't wait to vote for Donald Trump again." Someone said something about Donald Trump being against unions, and he said he wasn't a member and then proceeded to explain to me about the economy and all the illegals flooding into the job market, taking all the jobs. He got right into my face and became very animated. You can imagine how that went over with me. I informed him I didn't need him mansplaining to me about the economy that Bush tanked and Obama saved. Anyway, this went on for a while until Josie said, "You are in uniform and really shouldn't be talking politics. What's your name?" Well, the brave bully took off. I can't stop thinking of all the international students and Hispanic students, some dreamers, on the campus. He was clearly hostile toward brown people. Should I report this? Is what my friend asked. My reply? I told her that she should report the police officer. As a white person, she got an insight into the hateful pathology of this one police officer, but it is clear his behavior and sentiment can extrapolate to a large percentage of police forces around the country, given both factual and empirical data. Worse, one can see how these type of police responses and emotions become action with the public they are supposed to serve. Now, right after that, another friend, a white woman, responded as follows. In 1969, I was riding from East Lansing, Michigan to Chicago with a couple of black friends who were in the front seats. Another white friend and I were in the back seats. We were pulled over by a state trooper who questioned extensively who we were and who owned the car. My white friend did. After running all our IDs and finding nothing, he finally let us go. If anything, things have gotten worse since. At that time, the police weren't freely shooting people during traffic stops like they do today, at least on interstates. But it is both sad and infuriating that we are going backward instead of forward. Enlightening woman. She gets it. She has not allowed the right-wing narrative where police can do no wrong to take away her intellect, her ability to not rationalize, think, and objectively come to logical conclusions. These injustices can continue because the police are not held accountable for their wrongdoing in the aggregate. The people who usually sit in judgment of their misdeeds themselves many times hold the same sentiment of these bad cops. A message from another friend was probative. One of my patients, she's a doctor, one of my patients, after no political talk from me, went on a rant. I will leave his diatribe out of the text, but he ended with, "You're a liberal and liberals need to be exterminated." I told her I was writing a blog on this issue and wanted to hear the diatribe from the patient. She obliged, and she said as follows. He railed about Obama being a Muslim. He railed about Obama not being a citizen. He railed about women being murderers and said it was murder, not choice. Railed about immigrants being criminals, breaking into our country, how they should be charged with breaking and entering. He railed about Hillary being a criminal from Benghazi to her being guilty of sex crimes. He railed about BLM, that is Black Lives Matter, and Antifa, that is sort of a radical organization that kind of uses some means that, no, anyway, being terrorist groups. All the while, I was helping him dress. His wife had left to get the car. Look, folks, we are currently in a time with a substantial part of our population unhinged by issues neither they control nor the others they blame for their problems. In other words, they're blaming the wrong set of people for the problems they're having. The wrong set of folk they're blaming for the problems they're having. But the plutocracy is incentivized to keep these people ill-informed. The bad police officers are but puppets in the game who play their part to give life to the caricature of the other these police apologists fear. So you see, this is what enabling is all about. It's logical enabling. Why? Because they're fulfilling a duty. So here's a kicker. And this is an important paragraph that ends the blog. And I really need you to get this, because one of the reasons that I can be friendly with everybody, that I can see the good in everybody, that I can excuse most people, that I can forgive most people, that I can see through their eyes, I can see the fear through their eyes, or I can see or put myself in their situations that allow them to do the things that they do, for allow them to give the passes that they pass, is because I understand what's really going on. And it's not about police brutality. It's not about racial profiling. Those are the ancillary results of what we're seeing, right? But it's a hell of a lot deeper. It's a hell of a lot deeper. And I'm going to try to articulate it in this paragraph, because this is where policing, criminal justice, and politics meet plutocracy. Hear me again. This is where criminal justice, this is where profiling, policing, all of that meets plutocracy. Because this is all the plan. And this is not about conspiracy or whatever. This is how an unjust system can maintain order. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. That is why I don't even hate the bad cop. I want the bad cop to serve his time. I want the bad cop to be arrested. I want the bad cop to be taken care of. But I don't hate him, because he's just another puppet. He's just a part of the game. And this is the kind of game that I talk about all the time for those of you who are regular listeners of Politics Done Right. You know, it's all a game that we are all played. We're played. And when all of us realize that, that is when we can make a change, right? When we really deep inside of our hearts realize, my God, why did we let ourselves be played for so long? Why? But here's the kicker. The problem is the human beings' lives. The problem is the human beings' lives. Most of the people of color are the victims of this game. The one where tolerating police brutality is a necessary part. Ironically, what police apologists fail to realize is that as the extractive nature of our economy continues, they will eventually become the feed as well. I want to repeat those two sentences because they're so very important. And this is how you can continue to not hate the police, not hate the people, not hate the enablers, not hate them, but want to work with them to make the change. Here it goes again. It's very important. The problem is the human beings' lives, mostly people of color, are victims of this game. The one where tolerating police brutality is a necessary part. Ironically, what police apologists fail to realize is that as the extractive nature of our economy continues, those people that are enabling the cops, those people that when the cop rough up a black guy, a Latino or whatever, or this poor white person that you think is not worthy, when they do harm to these people, when they lie on these people, when they throw these people in jail for something they didn't do, that's taken care of. But we must continue to feed. We have to continue to feed. We have to continue to feed the plutocracy. So what then? They will eventually, all you that's been enabling the cops, you will eventually be the feed. And then what? And then what then? What then when you become the feed? As I preach consistently, and hear me out, my dear friends, as I have preached consistently, race is a social construct designed to keep a select few in power. And that select few does not include you. And notice I just said you, because for the vast majority of America, more than 90% of America, it doesn't include you. But you're fighting their battles. You're the one keeping the injustices alive. You're the ones that are allowing the plutocracy to rule by fiat. So, at the top of the plutocracy, there is no race. you know, everybody loves to love billionaire Oprah. Everybody loves to love billionaire, the guy who founded BET, to which I've always said, you founded BET, you sacrificed a whole damn race with the crap you fed for quite a while. And then you're out there as the head of as part of the members of the plutocracy. And then you're able to come on CNBC when Senator Warren comes out and says, let's start putting employees on the boards as well. And you, head of BET, a black man who knows of the injustices of the corporate state, goes on TV and says, oh my God, Elizabeth Warren wants to turn America into a Marxist state. Are you kidding me? You see, folks, race is a social construct. There ain't no race. We're all in the same boat together, right? They have to keep many of us fighting against each other so that we don't see it. And whomever is invited, whomever is the chosen to join the club, irrespective of race, they're raceless. They have no race because they know race is stupid. It doesn't exist. And then they support the same policies that screws us all. Whether it be the Johnson, the founder of BET, and even Oprah, or any one of the billionaires, or any one of the multi-millionaires, because they know the truth. Do you think Oprah is really an enemy of Donald Trump? Do you see Kanye West and all these guys chumming up with Donald Trump as if, oh my God, because Donald Trump, Donald Trump being a racist and all of that. I don't even listen to much of that, right? It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Does him being whoever he is have an effect on the cops beating up a kid? The only thing that have an effect on it is he's given them permission to let them know that the administration is not going to take on some big deal to stop these things. We have to get it in our head that we, the middle class and the poor, we're the country. We're the ones that everybody makes mincemeat out of. We are the ones that they ensure fight among each other. Because if we're fighting among each other, we cannot see that no billionaire is worth the billionaire status. No multi-millionaire, meaning the folks that have that excess labor of other people, are worth it. In order to keep it, they have to keep us dumb. In order to keep us dumb, they have to use the tenets of the Powell Manifesto to effect it in schools, in media, and everywhere else. The police officers is just one cog in the game, and they don't even know it. They have the power of the baton, of the gun, and of the taser. And right now, tasing the people of color, because the majority of the country is still not people of color, but it's okay, and you can keep the fight going among all these folks, among each other. While they tase you, they maim you, they kill you, they throw you in jail, they profit off of they profit off of all of that. That's what they do. Let's fight among each other. And the plutocracy survives. And Oprah keeps her billions. Bill Gates keep their billions. A lot of people get offended when I hit Oprah and Bill Gates as billionaires. And the only reason I hit those two is because you love them. And I want to show if I said the Koch brothers, the billionaires, everybody will be, rah, 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 you're right. But my thing is not ideology. My thing is systemic. When you have a systemic problem in your economy, it doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, or anything else, because ultimately, Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey and the Koch brothers and all these billionaires, they don't give a damn about ideology. They may fight it on either side. The Kochs may fight to make you get less. Bill Gates may fight, and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett may fight to make you get a little bit more. But ultimately, their goal is the same. Status quo. Status quo where I can make money off the back of everybody else. That's what it's all about. And until we sit back and understand that all this stuff is intertwined, none of it stands on its own. It's a system. You know, if you want to see how the criminal justice system works, is you take in the prisoners, by taking the prisoners, you get to you charge taxes to house them. You get to grease the funds of the few private prisons that you have. I mean, we're trying to privatize everything right now, and eventually the criminal justice system maybe, who knows, maybe a private system. Folks, so what we have to realize is we are in a big game. And in order for us to solve all our problems, what we have to do, folks, is we first have to understand that it's a game that the plutocracy is playing against every single middle class and poor person. And that you are a necessary part of the game, and that it is necessitated that you have conflict on every permutation of isms. And what do I mean by every permutation of isms? We have to have fight between the races. We have to have fight within the genders. We have to fight within the not only genders, but that sexuality. We have to have the fights between the haves and the have-nots. We have to have all these fights. When we understand that, then we will start working together. We will realize that the race stuff, man, is such crap. And when we do that, then the country is ours. And notice I didn't say then the country is ours again. It was never ours, right? It was always some guys who drew up a document and then put in this document together, ensure that people that was of their class, particularly white people with penises, they ensured that that constitution made them hold on to everything that they thought they were worth. And then they made everybody else fight for it. I'm talking about the Revolutionary War, of course. And then when these two sects, the ones who got their money through agriculture versus the ones who got their money through manufacturing, when they couldn't come to terms on people who looked like me, they fought another war. And once again, the peons fought it on race. Funny thing is that most of those darn Civil War veterans and this fit of civil rights soldiers, they had nothing. They had no slaves. They themselves were just a step above a slave in that they weren't in chains and nobody could say they owned them. But this country was never made but for a few from its founding. It is as this country became progressive that things began to change. As people got the vote, as women, who were some of the last people, were the last to get the vote. As that occurred, as the country liberalized, that is when change began. That is when we started to have real change. But then, folks, remember, as we changed, the plutocracy always had a way to try to dig itself back in to hold on to what it had. So we had the labor fights back in the 20s after the crash when progressives came out. We really thought we defeated the system. We defeated the Gilded Age. So we were going to survive, and we're going to have an equitable society. We're going to have an egalitarian society. And then the 70s came and things were booming. Yeah, we had inflation, we had externalities like the embargo and other things. But in general, the movement of the country in every manner was moving up. And then came Reagan. And then came this idealistic, false ideology, individualism, and Randian objectivism that took away the heart people had started to gain. And in doing so, what did it do? We've been in an over 30 years, since 1980 to almost 40 years of decline. 40 years of decline because of a failed ideology adopted by a people who were fooled by a Powell manifesto that taught them how to create think tanks that lied plausibly. The police brutality that we see, the attacks on minorities, on immigrants that we see. It's not like we're going to get less immigrants around here. It's not like we're going to get less folks from south of the border coming over here. You know why? Because these same businessmen want them. They need them to pick their cucumbers and their yucca and their ginger and their everything else. They need them. They just need to have you believe that there's something wrong there and to keep an eternal fight going. The immigration fight never ends. The racial fight never ends. The class war fight never ends. None of this ever ends, because if it ends, they end. If these disagreements among us end, they end. So that's why they keep it rolling. And that's why they have their paid stooges, the chosens, to keep it going. Folks, I so wish more of you could share these things and take it in, understand what we're talking about, understand the deficiencies of the system, understand the fallacies of race, understand the fallacies of all these different isms that separate us, and for once just say, man, we're going to get together and we're going to beat the system. We're going to get together and we're going to do it. Screw the establishments of all parties. We progressives. Because you know what? If progressives lose, baby, it's all over. Because I tell you what, if you think Venezuela is a fluke, if you think the display of all these riots and all these what do you call riots and wars and all these things that happen elsewhere is an accident or can't happen here, wake up. It can. And not only that it can, it will. And why will it? Because as more and more people have nothing to lose, guess what? They have nothing to lose. And they start to react. The only thing between the masses ready to react with the pitchforks and the plutocracy, it's us, the progressives. That's the only thing left. If we fail, society fails. If we fail, society fails. Man, you got a big job to do, my dear brother progressives and sister progressives and mother progressives and daddy progressives and all these other progressives. If we lose, or if we don't get through, it's game over. Folks, I want to remind you, this is a progressive show. And what we do need, though, is your support. If you like what you hear, if you believe if you believe that you want things done, if you want to be a part of doing things, if you want to make sure things are done, please be sure to support us at patreon.com/politicsdoneright. That is how we make change. We make change by investing in the change we know we must have. And the other side has a whole lot of funds to mislead. They have a whole lot of funds to lie. They have a whole lot of funds to tell folks, you know what, folks, guess what? You need to think this way. And you know, so far it's been working. It's been working for almost 40 years, since the inception of Senor Reagan. Obama couldn't change it. Clinton couldn't change it. Bush 1 couldn't change it. They couldn't. We have to do it ourselves. Folks, it's a call-in show. 646-716-5812. I would love to hear from you. If you have any thoughts on not only police profiling, brutality, or where we segued into. 646-716-5812. 646-716-5812. Don't be scared to call. I'm a nice guy when you get us on the phone. And if you take a listen to those people who call us, they really enjoy the dialogue when they call in. So again, that number is 646-716-5812. 5812. All right. There's another thing that I wanted to talk, and this was specifically something that I heard on TV today with on Morning Joe with D.L. Hughley, and this is a particular statement to white people. And it was interesting because a lot of the reasons why what happens in the country with police officers is that the people who get these guys off are generally mostly white people who see things through some other lens when they're watching these videos, and somehow are able to pardon or give these police officers the benefit of the doubt. And D.L. Hughley had a phrase, and I don't quite remember what the phrase was, but it was so prescient the way he said it. But the implication was, think about whenever the implication was, whenever you see that police officer attacking a person of color, just make the assumption that that person being attacked is a blue-eyed blonde white person. Put it in your frame of mind, and our minds can do things like that. Put it in there, and then assume that it is, because what he said is, and it's true. I saw this when I went to China. I saw this when I went to Taiwan. I saw this everywhere in business dealings that I've done overseas. The power of what the media has done to people of color in caricaturing them, in promoting that they are so much more violent. It's funny because everybody likes to say, oh, well, the percentage of the crime committed by minorities, and specifically black men. And the thing about it is that first of all, the amount of crime is so small in the whole gist of things, right? That the skew of the numbers, changes a whole lot. But crime as a percentage of the population is minute in this country. I mean, you watch TV and you see the killings every day on TV. To you, it's like huge. But when you're talking about a population of about 330 million people, and if you take a look at just Houston, how huge Houston is, we never see a killing in most of Houston. And killings have a way of, if it's not something like a wife killing her husband or something like that, has a way of being in the same places, high crime areas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what the media has done, it has made it seem that crime has an identity, and that identity looks like me or others similar and looks like me. And that is what's cauterizing my white brothers and sisters' head, even liberals many times, right? They sit down there and, they can't articulate it because, come on, they're progressives, they're liberals. But it's in the back of their head. From what I see on TV, the people that are committing crime, and I have that little edge on me. That is what the Powell Manifesto did to you. That is what programming did to you. Because in the whole gist of things, crime, even if it were that, let's say, black men committed 100% of the crimes, the possibility of being afflicted by crime is so small that it's, I don't want to say overblown, because when you are the victim of crime, it's not overblown. But when you look at the whole issue, it is such a small issue. The real issues is how many people are ODing, how many people died from the opium overdose. 74 or so thousand people this year. That's how many people died from a corporation who created a product that they knew was addictive, that they're pushing onto people. Do we consider those murders? It is somebody killing for a profit, but we don't consider that murder. 70-something thousand people died from opioid overdose. Probably 40-something thousand people died or more from alcohol, OD, and accidents caused by alcohol. Nobody pays a price. No man who created the gun that killed those people, they don't pay a price. But we get some other kind of crime. We decide what we are going to call crime. We decide what we're going to call murder as a society. But when you look at it, we call murder the things that other people do. And we call other kinds of crime. Because I tell you, that guy who crashed the stock, those folks who crashed the stock markets, caused a whole lot of people to die, heart attacks, etc. They never got charged with any kind of crimes. Murder, nothing. I mean, a lot of them should have been charged with murder. Nothing. Folks need to understand, we're living with a body of laws created by people who, in writing these laws, ensure that a particular sect is protected. And then the others, It's hard to believe and it's hard to understand because, these are issues that need deep thinking. And when you start to think deeply on these issues, then you realize that what we decide to put away, when somebody walks out of jail with their heads down for doing marijuana, and somebody who just got drunk and killed somebody and got up walks out with their head up high, why? Anyhow, let me go ahead and check my it's time for us to check our video feed and see what people are saying. And sorry for getting there late again. But anyhow, have a great show, Escamilla. Thank you so kindly, my friend. Michael Rudnin, break-in, Manafort, and 8 guilty charges. I got that. Police kill an average of 110 people per year, mostly racial. Yes, and I agree. Chase Escamilla, agreed on the post topic already. LOL. Great to you, buddy. The police state, right, Escamilla? Oh, man, he's going to tell all. Yes. Michael Rudnin, Manafort will be tomorrow's news. The jury is still out. Case Escamilla, Manafort 17 of 18 guilty. Word is, I don't think so. I think it's going to be, well, I'll see later on and then let you guys, update you guys. If Guru updates Michael Rudnin, let me see if I can. Okay, let's see what else I need to say here. Lawrence Sims, hello. Michael Rudnin, civilian complaint review boards need more power. You're absolutely right. Lawrence Sims, because of what we invite you to come to Greg's Elementary at 67 Roxburgh on Saturday, October 13, 11 to 2, and participate in a symposium for an intervention, diversion, and prevention program for at risk and other. Man, I sure wish I could attend. Oh, on October 13th. Oh, I can make that. I think I should be in town then. So Lawrence, send me that officially, and we'll talk, my brother. Let's see. Kingfisher, all the hearts and stars. Hi, thank you, King. Ken James, amen. Absolutely so, my brother. So right, Egberto. Thank you, sir. Michael Redden, I have no idea if the problem of police shooting on armed men is better or worse or now. A lot of people think it's worse. Antifa is the anti-fascist movement trying to encounter white supremacy. True. Let's see. Michael Redden, Egberto, did you see the Boondocks episode on BET? No, I did not. Michael Redden, Gilded Age, Rampant Wealth Inequality. Yes, sir. D.L. Hughley, he said a lot on the topic of police officers attacking people of color. Wish I knew in particular what quote you were referring to. When the video comes out, I was searching so hard for the video before I came on air, but I couldn't find the video. But we are getting close to the end of the show, so what I want to do is do one last pitch, and then we're going to be closing this baby down. So, folks, if you're just joining us, please remember this is a progressive show that does need your support. Please give us, go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. That is patreon.com/politicsdoneright. If you believe in what we're doing, and I know you do believe in what you're doing, because we get thousands of people who are watching and listening to our podcast, etc. We know you like the programming because the programming is truthful and you run the program. This program is yours. We've always told you that, and it's not cliche. The program is yours. So if you believe in this program, please, folks, go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. Again, that is patreon.com/politicsdoneright, and be a part of the solution. We here, folks, we want to make things right in this country. And like I told you earlier in the show, the only path between the pitchforks from the masses to the plutocracy are progressives. We are the only backstop left. If we fail, the country fails. Folks, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And I am absolutely sure you know where I'm going. I'm going to tell you one thing. Go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. Egberto Willies, Politics Done Right. And guess what? I am out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.